Hey everyone, so this is going to be sort of part 2 of this video. We're going to sort of continue now and go into fitting the prop. Okay, so let's crack on and sort of see what we've got to do. So if you looked at the last video I did, obviously we've just got the UJ onto that end of the rear prop, so the bit that goes onto the IRD. The next bit is going to be doing this one, but we're not going to put it fully together yet. So you get these knuckles and there is not much room to get the 17mm in there once it's on. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do. Okay, so with putting the prop back on, like I say, refer to the previous video on getting the UJs on. You could put the UJ back on and get that back on there and try and get it in, but it leaves you with very little room in here to get that bolt on. So we're actually going to attach the knuckle first. So we're going to get this in there, get the retaining clip in, have that on firm, and then we're going to get the UJ back into here whilst it's on the floor so it all works. And that should make it a lot easier to do this bolt up because we don't have this in the way. We can just do this bolt up and get it all sorted in one go. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get the knuckle onto here first before we actually put the UJ back together on this end. So it's going to get a little bit of lithium grease. You don't want to use copper grease on this. Put a little eat into the splines. So a little bit of grease just to stop it seizing you next time we want to do it. Pushing on. And we're just going to have to hammer that in slightly. There we go. There we go. So if I bring this in closer, you can see how now that's pushed into there. We've got this little washer here. And it's very important that this does not go inside there. So I'm just going to put it out. There we go. So that's now on there. You can see there's the gap, etc. And the reason we're doing this now is because if this was on, as I said before, if this was on here, sort of like this, you can see there'd be almost no room to do up that bolt. Whereas now we've got plenty of room to get the washer in there and do up the bolt. So you've got two tabs on this washer. You've got the bigger tab here and the smaller tab here. So what you're going to do, this smaller tab here is what locks it against the bolt. So for now we don't want it over there just yet, but this sort of C washer that comes on your prop, it's got this little sort of locking bit here. That's going to go towards the washer, and they're going to lock together like so. And now we're going to do up this nut against them. So I'm going to push that flat against there. Just do this last bit by hand for now. There we go. So just got it done up by hand for now. So you can see that little notch on there goes onto there. That's tight.
Tight.
That's now locked in there. So now that's on the now that's attached to the VCU, and we can get the rear prop and get the UJ into there whilst it's there now. So it's not going to get in the way at all whilst we're doing that side of it. Okay, so we're just going to get the new UJ into here. So that's going to be on there like so. Obviously I did the previous video on getting that one in, so obviously refer to that for getting these in. So I'm just going to do a quick time lapse of us getting that in there to get that nicely on there. That's it all back together again, and what you can find sometimes is these are a little bit stiff, so just giving it a couple of taps on each of those faces just frees it up and makes it nice and movable again for when it goes back on the car. Okay, so now that we have the rear prop back onto the VCU, I should have mentioned actually, the 3 bolts here point towards the rear, so that tells you which way it faces. So now we've got that back together, we're going to leave the front off of it for now, and we're going to get the rear prop and the VCU back on the vehicle, and then we're going to get the front prop on back after, simply because it's got the piston unit here, which makes it a bit easier because it can go forward and back, making it a bit easier to fit. So yeah, for now we're going to get this one up on there, and what we're going to do is we're going to hold the VC up against it, get that loosely put in, get those on at the same time, and just kind of do it up and make sure it's all lined up, and then get the front prop on after. Recording. I'll just turn the video down afterwards. Me very ungraciously getting underneath. Old man. Right, that's those in loosely. So what we've done is we've just got the VCU up, got 4 bolts very loosely into those holes, because you can slide the prop, you can slide it forward and back then as required, and we can now still rotate it to get the rear prop onto where it needs to go, and then do them up tight afterwards. Okay, so we've got the VCU on, so we're just going to get the rear prop done up now. Okay, so we're going to do the bolts on these now. It's worth remembering, obviously there is a PCD on this rear one, so it's got 2 shorter edges, 2 longer edges. So make sure you're getting it correct and doing up the correct ones on this. Okay, so now we've got the 2 bottom ones on. We're probably going to have to roll the car backwards to make it easier for ourselves to get to the top 2 bolts. So now I've got these 2 in. We can basically roll the car and get these 2 to the bottom, and then we can just do them up the same as we did the top ones. We've rotated the vehicle, well, just reversed it back a few feet, just rolled it back. Now you can see the ones we did it tight are now back up here. The ones that are loose are now down here on the bottom, which makes it far easier to access them, to do them up. So just a little hint, obviously some people try and do them up all whilst they're there. It's just so much easier to just roll the vehicle a few feet back and get it ready and do it this way. Okay, so I appreciate the angles are not the best to record in here, but that's the rear prop done up now. Like I say, just rolling it back and forward a few times just makes it so much easier to do the work. A little bit more effort, and it just makes everything better. Going on front towards the front now, we can get this done up. So it's just 4 bolts. Obviously, they've got. So the reason we were able to move it is it's got sliders here. So it's basically cut a groove rather than a hole on the VCU. So you can basically slide it forward and back, which makes getting that rear prop in easy. We can now do this up tight because this can't move anyway. So we can get this done up tight, and then we can get that front prop on, going to the front there. Solid as a rock. And those carrier bearings are so much better. So obviously I bought this VCU in. It did come with the carrier bearings. My previous ones, I'll see if I can find a video of it, but they were completely gone. All of this was basically just falling out. You could move this, almost freely inside. So I've got obviously these carrier bearings on front and back now. New UJs, obviously original rear prop, but effectively everything else is being changed. Okay, so now it's just getting the front prop in. So you saw where the VCU was mounted up. That's going to be onto this end. This end goes into that crown pinion wheel a bit on the front. So this bit is like a piston, like I said before. It can go in and out. So the plan at the moment is get that back bit in, squeeze this back, lift up and push it in. And then hold it obviously on that bit there until we get the rods through. Worst comes to the worst, because obviously there isn't still a huge amount of room in there. So worst comes to the worst, if we don't have a lot of room to work with on that, we will take this out and just take this knuckle off, get that in onto the VCU, and then reattach the UJ whilst we're underneath the car. But hopefully the plan is, at the moment, get it in one piece. So yeah, same as process as before. We're going to knock this into the VCU, wait for the bolt head to come through, drop that C washer through, do it up tight, and then that's it held on. So let's crack on with that bit. Okay, so rather annoyingly, the camera fell over and I lost the footage, but the front prop is on loosely for now. So what we ended up doing was having that bit just sort of sitting loose, just sort of up in here, pushing this on and getting that pushed in, and then slotting that in to hold up the front there, so it's all sort of in as it should be. We're doing this bolt up. It is a bit of a pain, I must admit. It is a 17. They say you could take this UJ apart and do what we did on the rear and bolt this in and then do it up with the gun and just drip that in and then put the UJ back together. But we didn't really want to start smashing apart, you know, a brand new UJ. So what we've done instead is we're going to modify a 17mm spanner to give it a bit more maneuverability in this small space. And then from there we should be able to do this up pretty well. And then it's just lining up the front by moving the car back and forward a bit until those bolt holes line up, and we're done. Okay, so I forgot to say as well, whilst I'm standing up, that front prop was sent to me by APD as well. So huge thank you for them for actually managing to find a front prop to go on these cars. I couldn't really find too many about that weren't sort of second hand, and I wanted to stay away from that for the front prop bit. So yeah, they actually managed to source that one from me. It's a decent one, so really happy with that. So a huge thank you to them for that, for finding that and getting it out to me. I think the links and everything for that should be up soon. I'll put a link up to it on the description as well. But yeah, it feels like a really decent sturdy bit of kit. So yeah, huge thank you to APD for getting that one out to me. Let's crack on and get it finalised. So just putting the front in now. You've got these plates and then the bolts that go through. By some miracle, it was actually already lined up. So these just went straight in. So effectively, yeah, you have these two plates. So you've got 3 plates, 1, 2, and 3. Each have 2 bolts on them. I'm guessing to spread the load of weight around. And then there's bolts that go on the back. And then they just do up tight, and that's the front of the prop done up on that one. So I'll just push that forward for it. Just doing that up now. So yeah, I was thinking we were gonna have to sort of roll it forward and back to get this to go in, but yeah, by some chance we actually had it all lined up to start. So there we go. So it's gonna get those done up, and then we're pretty much, well, we are done then, really. Okay, so that's the front of the prop back on now. I do apologise that I can't record much. Unfortunately, my phone, the battery seems to have died very quickly today. So I haven't been able to do as much recording as I would have liked for this. But that's that on. So effectively those plates go on, the bolts go through, and then there's little nuts on the back there that you just tighten up. I found it easier to tighten it up from the back. So ratchet the back ones and just hold those in place. And that does it up. But that is the prop back on. Hopefully this video is of use to some of you guys. Like you say, it's just one of those things I've just sort of thrown together just because I was doing the work anyway when my VCU seized. So yeah, hopefully useful for you guys, and see you on the next one.